What's Gucci, everyone? It's AJ here again, and today we're going to be making a video about classes in Swift, not Objective-C. That's what's replacing Swift, is Objective-C. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get started, and in this video we're going to make a counter class. And what the counter class allows you to, and what this class allows you to do inside the class is it allows you to share methods and variables just within that class. And classes can be used commonly to pass messages in between each other to kind of facilitate how a program usually works. Much of programming is message passing to get things done. Wow, I can't talk today. So if I do class, give it the keyword class, and then I give it a name. Usually I give it with a uppercase letter, and you can you don't have to though. And so within this class, I'm going to set a global variable called count, and I'm going to set that count variable equal to 0. So this is going to be a counter, and so obviously it's going to have a count. And so I want to make a way to increment and decrement the counter. That's why it's a counter. So I'm going to make a method called increment, and what that's going to do is going to do count plus plus, and what that does is it adds 1 to count and sets that value equal to it. So simply calling increment will plus 1 to count. So count will now be 1 if I called it the first time. But instead of just adding it by 1, I'm going to add more than that. I'm going to make a kind of increment by method. And what this increment by method is going to do is it's going to, again, do a count, but plus equals the amount that the user passes in. So now I'm taking a parameter, saying it's type integer. Integer, again, is non-decimal values, I like to think of it. And so a non-decimal value is something you can I can then increment it by. So I could add a negative number or a positive number to that. And so then I'm going to have a nice little reset method. And count equals 0. So reset will set the count back equal to 0. Note, I could also make a decrement method, which instead did count minus minus, but I'm not going to do that because I could just use the decrement method to do that as well. So now what we're going to do is simply I'm going to show you guys kind of how to facilitate this class. So now that I've got this class, let's make a variable called counter, and we're going to substantiate the new counter class. And so the new counter class is going to be substantiated, and with that, I'm gonna have that counter class. And so now that object is created, and within that object, all these variables and all these methods that we made. Well, the variables inside the object. The methods are bound by the class. And so simply, since the object is defined by the class, I can call any of these methods, as you see right here, through the class. So now I can say, okay, I can set increment here, and as you can see on the left side, count is now 1. Variables within inside the class, and then I can do counter dot, let's increment by -3 and see if they get mad at us. And so see, now count is -2. And let's do counter dot reset. So let's reset counter, and now we've set it back to 0. So as you can see here, we were able to make a simple class where I had a global variable, count, and then I had 3 methods that affected the count inside the variable, and then that affected the count global variable inside it. Now another cool thing is I can make, since I've defined a class, that acts as a model to all the objects I can create out of this class. So now let me make a counter 2, and I'll call this counter. And I didn't give it the capital C and Objective-C when I do it. And now that I have this counter 2, I can increment that, and since that's a totally different object, it can have different count values than the counter kind of 1 object, the counter object right here that I'm highlighting can have. So now I incremented that to 1. So now I have 2 counter objects, and I could make 3 counter objects, 5 counter objects. I could keep on making objects until I ran out of computer memory. So that's what's pretty awesome with objects, is I can just keep on making them and make them have different positions or different attributes at different times so they can communicate with different things differently. That's all I got for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the ending segment of this video, and have a great day and the best day of your life. Hi again, everyone. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys for liking, subscribing, and commenting on this video. If you want to watch more videos of the same category, you can click over here. And if you want to watch any new videos and learn something new, you can click over here. Have the best day of your life.